Hello there. I wanted to talk to you today about my second meeting with Frank Morris at the near his house in Mexico City. And the year, in my book, there's a little timeline discrepancy because in my book I told you that's when I first met him. But the first year I was down there, I only met him twice, only talked to him twice, and we didn't say a lot. But they tried to follow me back. They tried to get on the bus with me and ask me to go get off in another town with them. A lot of weird stuff I've told you in my book. But the second year when I came, which I think was 71, but it could have been 72, um, he walks up to me. Well, actually, I had gone down there towards his house and just sat down there on the curb down the street from his little place there. And he didn't really own a house, okay? He rented a little tiny room that was just big enough for a bed, and the Anglins had theirs in there too. But he always told me that they didn't live in the same place. It took him a while to get enough confidence to let me know where he lived. But anyway, he he told me, he said, I saw you. Oh, I think I told you I was reading a comic book there. When I sat down on that curb, I was reading a comic book, and I left. I went and ate. I went home, and the next day I went over there, and I didn't have a comic book, but I sat down, and Frank comes over there, practically charging at me. Says, "Hey, I just want to say hi to you. I saw you out here, and I noticed you were reading a comic book, and I like comic books myself." And I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, I want to show you one." And I'm like, "Okay." So he goes home and he says, "Don't go anywhere, don't just wait here for me." And something about if I got scared, I could run away. And he said, "Come and." He went and got the comic book, and he comes back, shows it to me. It was a Dan Cooper comic book. Now, if you haven't seen a Dan Cooper comic book, please Google it. Very beautiful artwork on the front page. And Dan Cooper was a Danish military hero, and he paratrooper, and he's hanging there from the parachute, dropping out of the sky with his military uniform on, and I don't know, guns or whatever. And Frank really was amazed by that and said he was thinking about doing something like that. In my book, I told you that he told me about this after he did it. Well, he did, but he actually told me what before he did it because he was planning it, and he told me later after he had done it that he had planned that jump for about a year. Well, that put the timeline perfect. He did it in 72, and he may have told me about it that summer or the summer before, but the summer before was when he started planning it. So that's probably when he showed me the comic book. Said, "I'm planning on doing something like this," and I tried to get some details from him. Of course, he wouldn't tell me what he meant by that, but made me think he wanted me to go with him and maybe go somewhere and go parachute jumping. But he was always trying to trick you into something, to get you alone. So I'm talking to him about this comic book. I mean, that's where he got the idea for the Dan Cooper jump, the DB Cooper jump. And if you don't know it, Dan Cooper is the name of the character on the magazine, and that's the name that he used when he bought the ticket. If you can imagine, back then they didn't even ask for ID to buy a plane ticket, and some, what do you call, after the jump, some media person mixed up the name and called him DB Cooper instead of Dan Cooper, and he's been DB Cooper ever since. He said that the media is good about screwing things up like that. And he mentioned some things about other organizations, the police, and any kind of organization of people that are supposed to do something usually screw it all up. And the kind of confidence he didn't have in any confidence in people in general. And throughout my life, I've found that he was kind of right about a lot of it. That's the story of Dan Cooper and how he did the jump. And I saw him in 72 in the summer, and I said goodbye to him in August or whatever. probably tried to stay away from him as much as possible. But anyway, in November, he did the jump. And next year, I went back there again on vacation. I was only there for 2 weeks, I think. That's when he told me that he had done the jump. And he talked about falling through the trees and everything. You can read all of that in my book about where he landed and the whole shooting match. And he even told me that he would go back from time to time to Ariel, Washington. But I'm pretty sure that's the name of the town, Ariel, because they would have this. There was a place that sold, DB Cooper memorabilia, and they would have a DB Cooper look-alike day. And he would go back and be there, and I was like, how can you be there if you say somebody's looking for you all the time? He goes, yeah, but they wouldn't look there because everybody there looks like me. These people are all disguised, so he'd walk in and walk back out. He also claimed that he would go on the tour to Alcatraz every once in a while, also after it became a museum, and I know the Anglin brothers went with him wherever he went. That's my story for tonight. I got to think of another one for tomorrow. If anybody has any ideas, let me know. I'll fill you in on all of the fun times I had with Frank Morse and the Anglin brothers, who were the Zodiac killers, and a whole lot of other unsolved mysteries. Good night. God bless.